When we hear the word assassin, a very specific image comes to mind. It describes a person who targets prominent political leaders. History is marked by these acts of violence. John Wilkes Booth shooting Abraham Lincoln in the theater box is a defining example of an assassination. But the word itself has a much stranger history. It doesn't originate from a dark guild of professional killers. The modern definition hides its true origin. The term actually started as a highly effective piece of 12th century political propaganda, weaponized against a besieged religious minority. To find the source of the word, we have to look back to the 11th century Middle East. In the rugged mountains of Persia and the Levant lived the Nizari Isma'ilis, a small Shi'i Muslim sect. Their primary goal on any given day was simply surviving in a fiercely hostile world. They faced an extreme power imbalance, Seljuk Empire, and eventually the invading European Crusaders. Facing total annihilation, their extreme isolation forced the Nizaris to adopt survival tactics that history would eventually twist into a legendary myth. The architect of this survival strategy was Hassan Sabah. He was a brilliant scholar and a masterful strategist who urgently needed to establish a completely secure base for his persecuted people. In the year 1090, he cleverly targeted Alamut Castle in Persia. Through patient infiltration and conversion of the local guards, he managed to take control of this massive fortress without shedding a single drop of blood. Alamut became the blueprint for the concept of Dar al-Hijra, or places of refuge. The Nizaris began securing a decentralized network of these independent mountain strongholds. Their physical isolation and impenetrable fortress defenses became their greatest assets. They turned a scattered, outnumbered sect into an untouchable sovereign state. This chart shows the vast size discrepancy between the massive Seljuk armies and the tiny population of the Nizari strongholds. Engaging in a traditional battlefield war against these empires would guarantee instant annihilation for the Ismailis. So they developed an alternative strategy. They deployed highly trained individuals, known as fidais, to eliminate specific, high-profile enemy leaders, viziers, and generals. This was calculated asymmetrical warfare. By targeting the architects of the campaigns against them, they aimed to paralyze enemy command structures. Precision violence provided the only effective deterrent a tiny minority possessed to hold off superpower empires. The strategy was applied on the Syrian front as well, managed from Masyaf Castle, the headquarters of the Levantine branch of the Nizaris. Here, a brilliant leader named Rashid al-Din Sinan operated with tactical independence. To Westerners, he became known as the menacing Old Man of the Mountain. When the mighty Sultan Saladin laid siege to Maysaf, he awoke one night to find hot scones, baked in a specific shape, resting beside his bed. Pinned to them was a poisoned dagger. Saladin recognized the silent warning immediately. He realized he could not subdue them, lifted the siege, and established a truce. The Nizari reputation for infiltration was highly effective. It forced the greatest military commanders of the era to negotiate rather than fight. Unable to defeat the Nizaris on the battlefield, the surrounding empires launched a massive campaign of information warfare to destroy their legitimacy. Starting around 1122, rival Islamic powers began referring to the Nizaris using the terms hashishiyya or hashishin. The word was not a literal description of drug use. It was a derogatory insult meaning outcasts, rabble, or absent-minded criminals. The Nizaris were victims of medieval fake news. They were branded with a slur carefully designed to strip them of their religious and political humanity. When European Crusaders and travelers arrived in the region, they heard this local Arabic insult, but entirely misunderstood its cultural and linguistic context. Figures like Marco Polo took the slur literally, inventing what became known as the Black Legend of the Old Man of the Mountain. Polo spread the myth that Ismaili leaders drugged their killers with hashish. He claimed they placed the young men in fake heavenly gardens to brainwash them into absolute fanaticism. Modern scholarship has found absolutely zero historical evidence of any hashish use in Ismaili training or military operations. This sensational, exotic lie proved far more exciting for Europeans to record and repeat than the complex, highly rational reality of asymmetrical military survival. In 1256, invading Mongol armies finally accomplished what the Seljuks could not. They captured and destroyed Alamut Castle. When Mongol historians inspected the fortress, they documented vast libraries and extensive water cisterns, but they found absolutely no evidence of magical secret gardens. After the empire fell, the word hashashin traveled back to Europe. It morphed into Italian and French, eventually entering English in the 1530s as assassin. In this transition, the word lost its original context entirely, becoming the universal term for any political murderer. Every time we use the word assassin today, we are unknowingly acting as mouthpieces for 900-year-old propaganda, preserving the fears of a destroyed empire's enemies.